Which of the following characteristics places algae in the group of autotroph? 1. Carrying out anaerobic respiration. 2. Manufacturing their own food. 3. Feeding on dead organisms. 4. Feeding on other living organisms. Exactly. 2 makes sense, and it is right choice. What science tool is used to view organisms too small to see with a magnifying lens? Sharp thinking. Microscope is the right choice. Question 4. Which of the following statements are true or false? Citrus canker is a plant disease which is caused by microorganisms. Rust of wheat is caused by fungi. Valid point. Both A and B is true. Beneficial or harmful. Fungus and bacteria decomposes tree limbs in forest. Perfect. Beneficial is the correct choice. What kind of microorganism is in the image? What is its name? You chose fungus Aspergillus, and it is correct. Beneficial or harmful? Plankton are a food source for small fish. Nice selection. Beneficial is the correct and valid answer. Whenever any harmful disease causing microorganism enters the human body, the body produces substances to fight with the entered microbe. It is called.
Correct. Antibodies is the right answer.
Beneficial or harmful? Bacteria used in cheese and yogurt? Great job. Beneficial is the accurate answer. Scientists must use a dash to see bacteria and protists. Solid response. Microscope is a valid choice. Question 7. Which of the following statements are true or false? Boiling kills many organisms. Low temperature inhibits the growth of microbes. Smart pick. Both A and B is the correct choice. What food preservation technique has been used here? Clear logic. Your choice, drying is sound and 100% true. Dash bacteria are in your dash to help digest food. Nicely done. Helpful stomach is a solid answer. Identify may be found as a single cell or as multiple cells. I have a cell wall and chloroplast, but I don't have roots, shoots, or leaves. Smart move. Algae is an accurate answer. Which of the following disease-causing pathogens is are carried by mosquitoes? 1. Dengue fever, 2. Malaria, 3. Cholera, 4. Both and. Strong choice. 4 is the right answer. Complete the table with correct options. Bravo. Air, fungi, insect is the answer. Yeast makes bread, rolls, and cakes rise. On track. True is the correct answer. While playing with crackers, you should be. Right again. Careful is a valid answer. Are microorganisms helpful or harmful? Good thinking. Both is the right answer. Which of the following terms is given to the microorganisms that cause diseases? 1. Antigens, 2. Antibodies, 3. Pathogens, 4. Vectors. Excellent. 3 is a brilliant choice. Is this a good way to prevent fire? You got it. Your choice, yes, is right. The process in which sugar in the food is transformed into alcohol and carbon dioxide by using microorganisms is known as. Well done. Fermentation is the right choice. How is the length of pitch? Correct response. 22 yards is the most accurate answer. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is called 1 infection 2 milding 3 nitrogen fixation 4 fermentation. Excellent choice. 4 is the right answer.
A disease-causing organism. Nice work. You chose pathogen and it is correct.
The algae that fixes atmospheric nitrogen from air and thus enriches the soil with nitrogenous compound for plants is. Great thinking. Blue-green algae is the right choice. What type of cell is a? You're right. Animal cell is the correct answer. Tuberculosis is a disease that was widespread during the turn of the century. This disease is an example of dash. Well picked. A harmful bacteria is the correct answer. Identify Dupixent. Good job. Your answer 3 works well here. The organism involved in the curdling of milk is Aspergillus 2 have, Penicillium 3 Lactobacillus 4, Streptococcus. Well reasoned. 3 is the correct choice. Which of the following ist are produced by using bacteria? 1 antibiotics, 2 cheese, 3 yogurt, 4 all of these. Right choice. 4 is the best answer.
A fungus that is usually located on your feet, which causes skin disease. Ringworm athlete's foot coliprotozoa.
Excellent. Athlete's foot is a brilliant choice.
Carrier of malaria-causing protozoan is when butterfly tooth, a housefly 3 female Anopheles mosquito 4 cockroach.
On track. 3 is the correct answer.
Rhizobium bacteria 1 helps in digestion, 2 helps in nitrogen fixation, 3 causes diseases, 4 all the above.
You chose 2, and it is correct.
In order to take precautionary steps to control dengue, we must take measures to stop the breeding of.
Valid point. Aedes mosquito is true. Question 9. The microorganisms that cause diseases in human beings, plants, and animals are called dash. Nice selection. Pathogens is the correct and valid answer. A bands of firefighting workers with special equipment, known as fire brigades, are that make fires. Correct response. False is the most accurate answer. If the fire has no fuel to feed on, preventing oxygen supply and removing the heat can lead to dash. Great thinking. Put out fire is the right choice. Which of the following reproduces only inside the host? 1 bacteria, 2 virus, 3 fungi, 4 protozoa. Clear logic. Your choice 2 is sound and 100% true. Some plants have nitrogen-fixing bacteria in their root nodules. What are these bacteria called? Great job. Rhizobium is the accurate answer. Which of the following is not a fungi once? Paramecium 2 bread, mode 3, Penicillium 4, Aspergillus. Well done. 1 is the right choice. Asthma is a chronic inflammatory disease in lungs. Name the fungus. Who is responsible for this? You got it. Your choice, Aspergillus fumigatus, is right. Dash are parasites, which means they can only survive inside the cells of other living things. Perfect. Viruses is the correct choice. People suffering from the effects of smoke should be given before sending them to hospital. Right again. First aid is a valid answer. The following is an antibiotics: Win alcohol 2 yeast 3, sodium bicarbonate 4, streptomycin. Well picked. 4 is the correct answer. The bread dough rises because oath 1th, kneading 2, heat 3th, grinding 4, growth of yeast cells. Well reasoned. 4 is the correct choice.
Medicine that kills or stops the growth of harmful disease causing microbes is known as.
Strong choice. Antibiotic is the right answer. The process by which amount of nitrogen remains the same in the atmosphere is known as.
Good thinking. Nitrogen cycle is the right answer.
Plant disease citrus canker is caused by 1 virus, 2 fungi, 3 bacteria, 4 none of these. Smart pick. 3 is the correct choice. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol in the absence of oxygen is called. Correct. Fermentation is the right answer. Medium that transmits pathogens from an infected person to a healthy one is called. Sharp thinking. Carrier is the right choice. Partial sterilization of a product, such as milk at a high temperature, is known as. Good job. Your answer pasteurization works well here. Which organisms are microscopic and dependent on host organisms for reproduction? Excellent choice. Viruses is the right answer. A tiny, non-living particle that invades and then reproduces inside a living cell.
Solid response. Virus is a valid choice.
True or false? Jellies, jams and squashes are preserved by adding vinegar to them. Right choice. False is the best answer. Substance used to produce immunity against diseases in the living body is called. Nice work. You chose vaccine and it is correct. Pathogenic microorganisms present in host cells are killed by medicines called. Exactly. Antibiotic makes sense and it is right choice. What is the name of the special equipment that firefighters carry with them? Bravo. Fire brigade is the answer. Fungi reproduces by 1th fission, 2th region, seed formation, 4th spore formation. You're right. 4 is the correct answer. Which gas is produced by yeast in the dough, which makes bakery items fluffy? Nicely done. Carbon dioxide is a solid answer. Question 5. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as dash. Smart move. Fermentation is an accurate answer. Dash are the agents that act as carriers of a pathogen and spread diseases. Correct response. Vectors is the most accurate answer. The 2 microorganisms which live in symbiotic association in lichens are. Solid response. Alga and fungus is a valid choice. Question 6. Consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms causes dash. Smart move. Food poisoning is an accurate answer. Which one of the following is not produced by the process of fermentation? Valid point. Milk is true. Living organism that we cannot normally see with our naked eyes are called? Good job. Your answer microorganisms works well here.
Bacteria is known as dash in an ecosystem when feeding on dead organisms.
Correct. Decomposers is the right answer. Which of the following is the basic building block of living organisms? Right again. Cell is a valid answer. The particular temperature at which an object begins to burn is called. Sharp thinking. Flashpoint is the right choice. The things required to make fire are dash. Good thinking. Oxygen is the right answer. The fungus that is commonly used in bakery and beverage industries is. Well done. Yeast is the right choice. Choose the correct option. What are the things needed to make a fire? Well reasoned. Heat, oxygen, and fuel is the correct choice. What is the name of a bacterium that helps in the formation of curd? Strong choice. Lactobacillus is the right answer. While baking cakes, yeast reproduces rapidly and produces dash gas. Nice selection. Carbon dioxide is the correct and valid answer. Dash. Fix nitrogen directly from air and enhance fertility of soil. Exactly. Blue-green algae makes sense, and it is right choice. Tiny organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eyes are called. On track. Microorganisms, microbes, is the correct answer. True or false? Microorganisms are found in large number around us. Well picked. True is the correct answer. When the energy is released in the form of heat and light, it is. You got it? Your choice both, and is right. Question 12. Which of the following is a non-communicable disease? Nicely done. Diabetes is a solid answer. Which one of the following is not a method of food preservation? E. Great thinking. Boiling is the right choice.
Which of the following diseases can be cured using antibiotics?
Smart pick. Typhoid is the correct choice.
This microorganism has whip-like flagella that help them move.
You're right. Bacteria is the correct answer. Which of the following is not responsible for spoilage of food? Great job. Algae is the accurate answer. Fungi consist of two main groups of organisms, a dash and modes. Right choice. Yeast is the best answer. Dash helps us digest our food and convert it into simple form. Bravo! Bacteria is the answer. Question 2. Cold, influenza, and most cough are caused by dash. Nice work. You chose viruses and it is correct. When you blow on smoldering paper, it often bursts into dash. You chose flame, and it is correct. What describes the relationship of microorganisms to humans? Excellent. Both harmful and useful is a brilliant choice. Are the following microbes harmful? 1. Lactobacillus. 2. Rhizobium. Clear logic. Your choice. No is sound and 100% true.
When carbon and hydrogen are combined with oxygen, they dash.
Excellent choice. Can cause fire is the right answer.
The disease caused by a protozoan and spread by an insect is.
Perfect. Malaria is the correct choice.
The device that is used to observe microorganisms is called.
Excellent. Microscope is a brilliant choice. Which organisms are microscopic and reproduce on host cell? Well picked. Viruses is the correct answer. Is it possible for bacteria to grow immune to antibiotics? Nice selection. Yes is the correct and valid answer.
This microorganism uses host cells to make copies of itself.
Excellent choice. Protozoa is the right answer. Which of the following reproduces only inside a host cell? Well done. Virus is the right choice. The first antibiotic called penicillin was extracted from... Correct. A fungus is the right answer. The process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is called... Nicely done. Fermentation is a solid answer.
Which of the following is not used as food preservatives?
Good thinking. Methane is the right answer. Which of the following is a disease caused by protozoans? Valid point. Malaria is true. Name the chemical preservative used in jams and squashes. You're right. Sodium metabisulfite is the correct answer. Dash convert atmospheric nitrogen into plant usable form. Right again. Bacteria is a valid answer. Which of the following diseases is caused by a bacteria? Great thinking. Tuberculosis is the right choice. Jams, jellies, and squashes are preserved by adding salt. You got it? Your choice false is right. A plant disease called citrus canker is caused by a dash. Right choice. Bacteria is the best answer. From which book is this lesson taken for the textbook? Sharp thinking. The broken flute is the right choice. It is the removal of the moisture content of the food. Nice work. You chose drying and it is correct. Which of the following can help in spread of microbes? On track. All the above is the correct answer. How was the shape of bat in mid of 18th century? Bravo. Hockey stick is the answer. Name the bacteria which promotes the formation of curd. Smart pick. Lactobacillus is the correct choice. Which of the following microbes help in curd formation? Perfect. Lactobacillus is the correct choice. Which of the following increase the fertility of soil? Strong choice. Rhizobium bacteria is the right answer. Diseases such as dysentery and malaria are caused by... Exactly. Protozoa makes sense and it is right choice. The smallest microorganism on Earth is known as dash. Great job. A virus is the accurate answer. During the chemical reaction, there is a release of... Clear logic. Your choice energy is sound and 100% true.
Can atmospheric nitrogen be used by plants directly?
Smart move. False is an accurate answer. Dash is used for the production of alcohol and wine. Solid response. Yeast is a valid choice. What is the causative microorganism of tuberculosis? Good job. Your answer bacteria works well here. True or false? Algae tend to develop on wet surfaces. You chose true, and it is correct. The gas released during the preparation of bread is... Correct response. Carbon dioxide is the most accurate answer. Protozoa cause diseases like dysentery and malaria. Well reasoned. True is the correct choice. True or false? Oxygen alone constitutes 78% of air. On track. False is the correct answer. True or false? Viruses are the most useful microbes.
Well reasoned. False is the correct choice.
Gas that makes up almost 78% of Earth's atmosphere. Smart pick. Nitrogen is the correct choice.
The temperature at which every fuel bums is cold.
Right again. The flashpoint is a valid answer. Antibiotics are not useful against viral infections. Correct. True is the right answer.
The most common carrier of communicable diseases is
Smart move. Housefly is an accurate answer. What is the causative microorganism of hepatitis A?
Great job. Virus is the accurate answer.
Microorganisms can be found only in air and water. Well picked. False is the correct answer. True or false? Salt is used as a food preservative. Nice work. You chose true and it is correct. Which of the following are used as preservatives? Right choice. Sodium benzoate is the best answer. The oldest type of microorganism is known as dash. Correct response. Bacteria is the most accurate answer. Viruses have all cell organelles present in them. Great thinking. False is the right choice. 3 things required for fire are fuel, heat and... Excellent choice. Oxygen is the right answer. Which of these is not a food preservation method? Perfect. Curdling is the correct choice. A disease in human beings caused by virus is dash. You're right. Influenza is the correct answer.
True or false? Bacteria have an organized nucleus.
Clear logic. Your choice false is sound and 100% true. Some bacteria is known as dash and cause disease. Strong choice. Pathogens is the right answer. Can microorganisms grow in low temperature? You chose no, and it is correct. The different colors in algae are caused by dash. Exactly. Pigments make sense, and it is right choice. Dash is released in the form of heat and light. Good job. Your answer energy works well here. Which of the following is not a use of microbes? Sharp thinking. Destroy food is the right choice. Common cold is caused by which type of microbe? Valid point. Virus is true. Microorganisms that causes disease are known as. Excellent. Pathogens germs is a brilliant choice. Lowering the temperature below the flash point. Good thinking. Extinguishes the fire is the right answer. Which microorganism is used in yielding alcohol? Solid response. Yeast is a valid choice. How much nitrogen is present in the atmosphere? You got it. Your choice 78% is right. Energy is released in the form of dash and dash. Well done. Heat and light is the right choice. Question A. Conversion of nitrogen to ammonia is... Nicely done. Nitrogen fixation is a solid answer. Water should not be used on fire caused by dash. Nice selection.
Electrical appliances is the correct and valid answer.
Our atmosphere consists of -% nitrogen gas. Bravo, 78% is the answer. Which microorganism helps in making of alcohol?
Correct response. Yeast is the most accurate answer.
Flashpoint means a particular dash of a fuel. Right again. Temperature is a valid answer. What helps in the rise of bread or dosa dough? You're right. Growth of yeast cells is the correct answer. What type of fungi is used to help bread rise? Good job. Your answer yes works well here.
A preparation of weakened or killed pathogens.
Smart move. Vaccine is an accurate answer.
3 things needed to start and put out fire. You chose fuel, heat, and oxygen. And it is correct. Penicillin was introduced by which scientist? Nice work. You chose Alexander Fleming, and it is correct. Water is the only solution to extinguish fire. Great thinking. False is the right choice. Vaccine for smallpox was discovered by Dash. Right choice. Edward Jenner is the best answer. Flashpoint is also known as the dashes of a fuel. Correct. Kindling point is the right answer. The microorganism which contains chlorophyll. Nice selection. Algae is the correct and valid answer. Bacteria present in the root nodules of pea. On track. Rhizobium is the correct answer. The algae commonly used as a fertilizer are. You got it. Your choice blue-green algae is right. Who is the carrier of Plasmodium? Valid point. Female Anopheles mosquito is true. Malaria is caused by which type of microbe? Well reasoned. Protozoa is the correct choice. Cold, flu, and most cough are caused by Dash. Well picked. Viruses is the correct answer. Yogurt and cheese can be produced from Dash. Strong choice. Bacteria is the right answer. Which microorganism helps in making vinegar?
Well done. Acetobacter is the right choice.
The best thing to fight electrical fire is?
Perfect. Carbon dioxide extinguisher is the correct choice.
Yeast is used for making bread. Yeast is a... Nicely done. Fungi is a solid answer. Something of explosively violent potential. Bravo. Volcano is the answer. Scientist who discovered the fermentation. Good thinking. Louis Pasteur is the right answer. Are microorganisms useful and harmful both? Solid response. Yes is a valid choice. Plant diseases rust of wheat is caused by. Exactly. Fungi makes sense and it is right choice. You can find bacteria all over the world. Smart pick. True is the correct choice. In which year was fermentation discovered?
Clear logic. Your choice 1857 is sound and 100% true.
Fire is considered to be dash of mankind. Excellent. Greatest discovery is a brilliant choice. In the above context, fire can be put out. Excellent choice. Carbohydrate dioxide extinguisher is the right answer.
The three sides to the fire triangle are
Sharp thinking. Heat, fuel, oxygen is the right choice.
Who discovered the vaccine for smallpox?
Great job. Edward Jenner is the accurate answer.
Man's first experience of fire could be
On track. Both and is the correct answer.
Select the things required to make fire. Excellent choice. All of these is the right answer.
Question 11. Dysentery is a dash disease.
Great thinking. Protozoan is the right choice.
Question 10. Who discovered fermentation?
Nice work. You chose Louis Pasteur and it is correct.
Which of the following is an antibiotic?
Smart pick. Streptomycin is the correct choice.
Bacteria are made up of how many cells?
Excellent. 1 is a brilliant choice.
Every duel burns only when it reaches a
Clear logic. Your choice certain temperature is sound and 100% true.
Some microorganisms contain chlorophyll.
Great job. True is the accurate answer.
Female Aedes mosquito is the carrier of
Smart move. Dengue virus is an accurate answer.
Question 1. Penicillin was discovered by
Sharp thinking. Alexander Fleming is the right choice.
Carrier of malaria causing protozoan is
Strong choice. Female Anopheles mosquito is the right answer.
Which of the following is not a fungi?
You got it. Your choice, Spirodira, is right.
Why did Maya and Nishad got on holiday?
Perfect. Floods is the correct choice.
There are things required to make fire are
Well done. All of these is the right choice.
typhoid and tuberculosis are caused by
Valid point. Bacteria is true. The synonym of burn is You chose all the above, and it is correct.
what are bacteria that cause disease?
Well picked. Pathogens is the correct answer.
Food preservation cannot be done by
Nice selection. Adding kerosene is the correct and valid answer.
Edward Jenner discovered vaccine for
Correct response. Smallpox is the most accurate answer.
disease-causing microbes are called
Good thinking. Pathogens is the right answer.
malaria and dysentery are caused by
Well reasoned. Protozoa is the correct choice.
microbes are effective due to their
Bravo. Both B and C is the answer.
yeast is used in the production of
Exactly. Alcohol makes sense and it is right choice.
What is the meaning of smoldering?
Solid response. Burning slowly without flame is a valid choice.
Microbe involved in curd formation.
Nicely done. Lactobacillus is a solid answer.
What do harmful microorganisms do?
You're right. Spoil food, leather, clothing is the correct answer.
The above concept was not clear to
Good job. Your answer, the early man works well here.
Can fungi spoil only cooked foods?
Right again. No is a valid answer.
Fire is a bad master if it is a dash.
Correct. Uncontrolled is the right answer.
A fungus that causes skin disease. Right choice. Ringworm is the best answer.
The disease caused by protozoa is.
Good job. Your answer, malaria, works well here.
Bacilli are the bacteria that are. Right choice. Rod-shaped is the best answer. The bread dough rises because of. Well-reasoned. Growth of yeast cells is the correct choice.
Antibiotics are effective against.
Sharp thinking. Bacteria is the right choice.
The bacterium present in curd is.
On track. Lactobacillus is the correct answer.
Electric fires are put out using.
Great thinking. Carbon dioxide extinguisher is the right choice.
Mushroom belongs to the group of.
You chose fungi, and it is correct.
Viruses can also be called dash.
Excellent. Parasites is a brilliant choice.
The following is an antibiotic.
Correct response. Streptomycin is the most accurate answer.
Carrier of malarial parasite is.
Right again. Female Anopheles mosquito is a valid answer.
Can food poisoning cause death?
Perfect. True is the correct choice.
Who discovered microorganisms?
Well picked. Antony van Leeuwenhoek is the correct answer.
Amoebas have no definite shape.
Great job. True is the accurate answer.
Which of them is not a microbe?
Valid point. Penicillin is true.
The following is preservative.
Exactly. Oil makes sense and it is right choice.
Burning slowly without flame. Nice selection. Smoldering is the correct and valid answer.
Microbes are found everywhere.
Bravo, true is the answer.
With material is bat made of.
Solid response. Leather, twine and cork is a valid choice.
A fungus used as a medicine.
Correct. Penicillin is the right answer.
Penicillin was discovered by.
You're right. Alexander Fleming is the correct answer.
Early man thought that fire.
Nicely done. Was indeed dangerous is a solid answer. The word bat simply means. Well done. Stick or club is the right choice.
Choose the correct spelling.
Nice work. You chose fuel and it is correct.
Early man was frightened of.
Smart pick. Fire is the correct choice.
Disease is anthrax caused by.
Excellent choice. Bacteria is the right answer.
Disease caused by fungi is.
Smart move. Ringworm is an accurate answer.
Wood is an example of fuel. Strong choice. True is the right answer.
Fungi are dash organisms.
Good thinking. Multicellular is the right answer. Cholera is caused by dash.
Clear logic. Your choice bacteria is sound and 100% true.
Diseases caused by virus.
You got it? Your choice, chicken pox, is right.
When was fire discovered?
Good thinking. Stone Age is the right answer. How can microbes be seen? Nicely done. With microscope is a solid answer. We cannot spray water on. Smart move. Both of them is an accurate answer. Vaccines are made up of. Nice selection. Weak microorganisms is the correct and valid answer.
The antonym of remove is.
Smart pick. Add is the correct choice.
The meaning of damp is.
Excellent. Wet is a brilliant choice. The opposite of foe is.
Valid point. Friend is true.
Who discovered nucleus? Correct response. Robert Brown is the most accurate answer. Fire is the result of. You chose chemical reaction. And it is correct. The meaning of foe is.
Well picked. Enemy is the correct answer.
Examples of fuel are. On track. All these is the correct answer.
The fire brigade is.
Right choice. A band of firefighters is the best answer. Malaria is caused by. Well done. Protozoa is the right choice.
Who are firefighters?
Excellent choice. Who extinguish fire is the right answer.
What are pathogens?
Perfect. Disease-causing microorganisms is the correct choice. Who discovered cell? Great job. Robert Hooke is the accurate answer. Mushroom belongs to. Well reasoned. Fungi is the correct choice. Rhizobium bacteria. Right again. Help in nitrogen fixation is a valid answer. Bacteriophage is a. Solid response. Virus is a valid choice. Microorganisms are. Sharp thinking. Bothan is the right choice. Amoeba belongs to. You're right. Protozoa is the correct answer. Penicillium is a.
Nice work. You chose fungus and it is correct.
All bacteria are.
Strong choice. Unicellular is the right answer.
Meaning of hot. Clear logic. Your choice cold is sound and 100% true.
How you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
Correct. Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook is the right answer.